Well, good morning. All right, it's a great morning. You made it in here today, so right there, that makes the morning even great. Hi, I'm Michael Weeks. I'm with the Providers Council. I want to welcome you to the 5th Annual Caring Force Rally. Are you ready to rally today? Okay. I want to thank those who helped put this together, particularly supported by our board members of the Providers Council. Hey, board members, would you raise your hand so people can see who you are? Are you out there somewhere? Oh, one right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Now, I know there's a lot. Thank you. There's a board member to be. I got you. We'll remember that. Send your name in there. There's some potential there. So thank you for being a part of this group. Hey, I had a couple of things I want to do in terms of housekeeping. If you need any assistance here, you'll see some people with a tag that says Team Captain on them. They should be able to help you, or a person with a red shirt that says staff will be able to help you at the door. They've asked me to ask folks who have their cell phones if they just wouldn't use those to talk during the particular piece. However, we do have a role to do in terms of doing some tweeting. So if you can remember this in terms of the hashtag today, is the hashtag Caring Force Rally on Twitter and Instagram, okay? Hashtag Caring Force Rally on Twitter and Instagram, and you can also follow and retweet at the Caring Force. Well, it's a real pleasure to have you here today to be a part of this, and you're here to really talk about how important human services is and how the people that work in this building can help you do the work that you want to do. Isn't that right? And you're all gonna, right? Okay. So there's a person here who's been a part of this that's helped us get to where we needed to get to, and that's one of our board members. His name is Mike Maloney. Okay, Michael has a fan. I'm sure there are more out there, Michael. Michael's from HMEA, which is in Franklin. By the way, do we have people in the central part of the state here today? Anyone? Central part? Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure. And what about the southeast part of the state? Anybody from the southeast part? Got some southeast representatives? Do we have any folks from the northeast? Northeast is here, that's great. How about Metro West? Metro West is here. What about the far west? Do we have folks out in the west here? All right, Western Mass here. And finally, do we even have Boston people here? Anybody from the Boston area here? All right, great. Okay, we've got the whole state covered, Michael. Michael, I think it's all yours now.
Hey, thanks everyone. This is awesome. If you could move up a little bit over here because there's more people coming. Thanks for waiting through the lines. So, 5 years ago today, the Caring Force was born. Today we have 20,000 members. Is that wild or what? 20,000. That shows the power. We now have 156,000 staff who do the work. That shows the power. So Secretary Sutters tells us that we serve 1 in 4 Massachusetts residents. 1 in 4, that's 1.7 million people that you help. So you help people who are homeless, hungry, people with disabilities, autism, victims of domestic violence, sexual trafficking, people with mental health conditions, and those with addictions. It's a powerful testament to the compassion of the state of Massachusetts and the work we do. So there's power in numbers, but the Caring Force is not about numbers, right? It's about people, it's about you, it's about the workforce. You who do the work every day. So we've had some big wins, right? You've heard of Chapter 257. We appreciate what Governor Baker does for us. However, our Commonwealth depends on you, and needs to say, through its continued action, we need continued action. We respect and value what you do through a decent wage, affordable health care, opportunity for education leading to career growth. We want you to stay and live your passion for helping people. So I read yesterday that turnover in residential programs, a lot of people here work in residential programs, is 45%. What can we do to change that? How can we have you stay and live your passion? Something we can do right now, right today, this legislative session, is to help lift some of the burden of suffocating student loans. Loans that dim the lights of bright futures. Rep. Jeff Roy, he'll be here in a little while. He's going to get a Caring Force Bear. He's my guy from Franklin. Has sponsored the loan repayment bill. Let's get after it with our legislators today. Let's get that loan repayment bill. We also want our staff to be able to get tuition relief for graduate education. You might need a master's degree to stay in this field, to have a career. So we want to get tuition relief for graduate education, attending state colleges just as we do for undergraduate education. Healthcare, right? It's just not affordable. It's not. Paycheck deductions, deductibles, co-pays, medication. Our agency, HMEA, we just got a 25% renewal rate. A 25% renewal rate. So we get money coming in from Chapter 257, and it goes out to health insurance companies. It doesn't stay with staff. That is not right. We can do better. We can do better, right? Let's hear it. We can do better. So I'd like to introduce you to our speakers. They'll tell you what it's like to share their experience, their strength, their hopes for change. We appreciate so much the courage and conviction it takes to stand up here and speak out for 156,000 other people. So at first, I'm really very excited to introduce someone from HMEA. Nathan, if you come up, please. Nathan just squeezed himself into a medium-sized Caring Force shirt, so, and he put it on backwards, but it's right now. So our first speaker is Nathan Kusabor. As I mentioned, I'm proud to say he's from HMEA. He emigrated from Ghana, like so many of our staff coming from African countries, hoping to continue to do the work he loves, only to find out he would have to return to school to be considered qualified. Right, so you get educated in another country, you need to go to school here again. He looks forward to graduating this May, but also worries about paying off the large amount of student debts he has acquired. Nathan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here to share my story with you. However, I want to emphasize that it's not by accident that I'm working for human service. It's by divine purpose that I need to serve people, put a smile in their face, make their lives better, just as mine could be better too. My name is Nathan Kusabor. I'm from Ghana. I came to America about 8 years ago. I titled my speech, Certainty of Uncertain. Otherwise, when the uncertain becomes certain. I was inspired by this title from the book of the Bible. The verse is Psalm 122. It read, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord. This verse was my inspiration when, as a Ghanaian, the opportunity came my way to become an American. Upon being presented with the American dream, I uncertainly and unhesitantly migrated and relocated for pursuit of a better life. That was certain. What was uncertain was the roadmap. Little did I know that all that I had in education and experience will be considered unfit and unqualified. Having graduated college with equivalent of associate degree in 2001 in Ghana and worked in managerial positions for almost a decade in the corporate and international organization, none of my experiences were qualified or was considered enough to earn me a commensurate placement. The certainty became certain that before I could be accepted into American society or system, I need to go back to do college and do everything. I need to go back to college and do everything all over again. My interest is to study healthcare management or medical administration. Hence, my decision to follow my passion by working in human service as a social worker in HMEA. Colleges offering this program required that I do 4-year bachelor's program without considering my associate degree. In order not to do 4-year bachelor's program entirely, I had to study marketing just so that some of my credits can be transferred. This was a bitter pill to swallow, but I have no choice. I did it all as a full-time student and came out successfully with outstanding academic achievement and be honored with recognition to be on Dean's List. As a married man with 2 toddlers, earning a wage of $12.50 an hour, this was woefully inadequate. I could hardly take care of my family with 2-bedroom apartment and 2 car payments. I had to add a part-time work to supplement my income. That was certain. What was uncertain was I'm unable to pay my school fees. Therefore, they need to rely on financial aid. Combining 2 jobs, full-time college education, and a family was a tall order to climb. Little did I know that my quest for higher education would land me in a debt, financial aid. Upon completion of college, that was my situation now. What is certain is I owe the debt. But what is uncertain is how will I be able to pay. What is certain again is I know when I'm to start honoring my payment obligations. But what is uncertain is when will I get a job with higher income to enable me pay conveniently and comfortably without affecting my budget of the family. One big question that constantly lingers in my mind is, should I deviate from my passion or interest of human or social work to look for jobs in marketing field with the bachelor's degree so as to be in a position to pay off my debts? Or should I remain focused and dedicated to my core, to human service or social work, and marvel at how I could make payments? The answer has been evasive and elusive. And as time goes by, the thought of owing financial debt causes shivers down my spine. With a gradual passage of time, I am considering the decision to forego my core and passion in search for the lust for money or higher income to alleviate my predicament. This is why I consider the passage of an act establishing an education loan payment program for human service workers welcoming. I fear for ultimate goal of studying for masters in medical administration or healthcare management due to obvious and eminent reasons of becoming a debtor in pursuit of education. This is the main reason why I declined the opportunity to enroll for the program this spring, and I have not thought of doing so this fall. What is certain is I'm at the verge of seeing my passion dream fade away. But what is uncertain is when, how, and where will financial redemption, if not salvation or rescue, come my way to alleviate me from the albatross of financial aid. If wishes were horses, beggars will ride. How I wish my financial aid or debt is forgiven or converted into a scholarship. I would certainly ride on to pursue masters in medical administration or healthcare management to see my dream and passion of providing social service or delivering healthcare to the most vulnerable in our society come true. The importance of the bill. Primarily, the bill, if passed, will improve the plight of heavily burdened people like me. The idea of creating a loan payment or repayment plan for low-paid debt credential direct care human service worker like me will go a long way, not only to decrease the pressure associated with being a debtor, but also the assurance of not being considered a violator and offender relieving is worth relieving. More importantly, the passage of the bill will enable human service organizations to recruit and retain candidates with high level of education who are ready and willing to work in various sorts of human service. This is my call. This is why I'm here, not only to speak for myself, but for many colleagues who are faced with this situation. Thank you.
So Nathan mentioned wanting to ride on his dreams to continue to live his passion. Jeff Roy just stepped into the room. He's our state rep who's familiar with HMEA, who did introduce the bill for loan repayment, and we'll talk about him and Senator Flanagan a little bit later. Next, I'd like to introduce Megan Karen. She is joining us to share her story courageously, right? Standing up. My understanding is we can't fit any more people in here. That's a testament to the power. And it's also a testament to the courage of people who stand up here and talk. Megan is a life coach in the BUILD program at Roxborough Youth Works. She has a real passion for her job, as does Nathan, and the clients she serves, but has to balance her passion with working a second job to ensure the bills are paid. Megan?
Good morning, Caring Force colleagues. I'm so excited to be here with you, and thank you for allowing me to share my story with you about tuition remission. My name is Megan Karen, and I am a life coach with Roxborough Youth Works BUILD program. At Roxborough Youth Works, the BUILD program works with young men and trans-identified youth who are the victims of commercial sexual exploitation and sexual assault. Our intensive mentoring includes specific services that our clients may additionally need, such as counseling, education reentry, assistance in finding housing or medical care, and most importantly, caring and compassion to those who have rarely, if ever, received it. I consider my job to be important and crucial to the betterment of our community here in Boston, and I take my job very seriously, knowing that I'm making a difference in our youth's lives. I'd like to take a few moments to share how I ended up at RYI and why tuition remission would be relative to the work that I do. I attended Suffolk University right around the corner, where I majored in political science and minored in women and gender studies. It was here that I really tapped into my passion for helping and advocating for others. I graduated with a 3.8, served as my student body president, and was a resident assistant for 3 years, in turn saving me close to $50,000 in housing costs. In addition, I held a work-study position and served at a restaurant on the weekends. As you can see, I was extremely committed to both helping others and setting myself up for a successful future, but this was not enough. Graduate school is the most obvious step in continuing my education, but unfortunately, this does not seem like a reality for me anytime soon. I've revisited this idea several times in the past few years, but each time I conclude that graduate school is just not fiscally possible. While I'm still $68,000 in debt from undergrad, I envy my peers whose parents may have been fortunate enough to assist them in paying for college and now live more comfortably than myself while attending graduate school. Suffolk opened me up to a world of opportunities that I'm incredibly thankful for, and I wouldn't trade them for anything, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that sometimes I kick myself for not attending a more affordable school. Currently, I work 2 jobs, as I serve as a restaurant on Sundays as well. My shifts are generally anywhere between 12 and 16 hours. While I don't mind working the second job, the sad reality is that I have to. I absolutely love my job as a life coach, but my salary just isn't enough. If it weren't for my serving job, I wouldn't be able to survive simply with my head above water. I'm lucky to be able to work a second job, but I know it is impossible for all of us. While most service providers think about their passion before their pay, I think it's fair to say that student loan lenders do not do the same. The loan repayment plan would lessen the burden for many of us struggling to pay back our loans. My socioeconomic status growing up has made me a hard worker, and I'm very grateful for this. As a result, I'm passionate about the work I choose to do and always want to grow professionally while I'm helping those I'm working with. I spend lots of time doing research and reading up on as much as possible to become a better service provider for my clients, but no matter how much I read, it doesn't replace the experiences I would be getting in the classroom. Access to graduate courses would help me continue to learn about the field I'm working in, ultimately providing better services to my clients, and would strengthen our community as a whole. Most importantly, My clients are kind-hearted kids with such potential, and they deserve the absolute best service I can provide to them. Thank you for your time, and more importantly, thank you for the work that you do.
So right now, if you are a Providers Council member, you can attend state colleges, certain classes for free undergraduate. That does not extend to graduate school, and that's what Megan was talking about. And a path to a brighter future sometimes is through that master's degree. I think, Michael, 20,000 workers have gone to state colleges and sat in on classes and gotten credits through the Providers Council. Also, the Providers Council would like to be a resource in terms of loans. We recently held a forum. There are ways, depending on your loans, to spread them out, actually to have them forgiven at a certain point in time. Before you go to school, talk to somebody knowledgeable about what schools to go to and how to get your loans forgiven, and that's something the council can help you with. So I'd like to invite Sarah Yukna to join us to share her story. Sarah has worked at Bristol Elder Services since 2013 as a protective services worker. Sarah can't help but notice the need for additional training to best handle the complexities she sees at her job every day, but she also can't ignore the cost at which this training would come. Sarah?
Good morning. My name is Sarah Yukna, and I'm a protective services worker at Bristol Elder Services. In our unit, we investigate allegations of elder abuse, neglect, and come into contact with people who are at risk on a daily basis. In 2012, I graduated from Bridgewater State University cum laude with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Prior to this, I had attended Bristol Community College, where I earned a certificate in thanatology and an associate's degree in general studies. I was a member of multiple honor societies, tutored my peers in clinical psychology, and was a Commonwealth Honors Scholar. Despite my academic successes, I was completely unprepared for the amount of student loan debt I would accumulate. Upon graduation, I had amassed a bill of over $50,000. I had borrowed additional funds to assist with books, rent, and living expenses, and was utterly shocked when I received my first loan statement. How was I supposed to pay hundreds of dollars per month when my first job post-graduation only paid $13.94 an hour? Ultimately, I ended up having to apply for forbearance as I could not afford to pay over $500 a month towards loans when I was barely able to afford my monthly bills. After accumulating late fees and additional interest, my student loan debt is currently $58,371, an amount which feels utterly overwhelming on my annual salary of $44,483. The proposed loan repayment program would offer a much-needed financial boost to help me get my loans under control and begin paying off the debt I amassed in order to become a human services worker in the first place. Despite the state currently offering tuition remission for undergraduate studies, a bachelor's degree has been the minimum requirement for each of my positions in this field. I would love to attend graduate school and pursue a master's in clinical psychology. However, between the burden of my student loan debt and the additional cost of pursuing a graduate degree, I am unable to do so. Offering tuition remission for graduate studies would allow me to continue my education and obtain the necessary skills and credentials to be of greater service to the multitude of Massachusetts residents who depend on direct care workers like myself. I hope the legislature will consider a loan repayment program for low-paid human service workers and expand the already popular tuition remission program to include graduate-level courses and continuing education programs. Thank you.
These speakers are just awesome, right? The poise, what they do for work, their passion for people. Next, our final speaker before we present the Caring Force Bear Awards is Lee Mazer. She's going to talk not only about student loans, but also about healthcare. As I mentioned, healthcare for human service workers, for a lot of people, is broken. But when you make, as people were talking about, the amount of money, the money comes in, and when it goes out to Blue Cross or other health carriers, that is broken. That's not working for us. Our legislators have worked very hard to get Chapter 257 into our lives. Some of the money has gone up, but again, it goes out another door. So Lee is an assistant team leader at Bay Cove Human Services. She's a second-year grad student who knows all too well about the burden of student loan debt and the high cost of health insurance. Lee?
Woo.
Hi everyone, my name's Lee Mazer. I currently work at Bay Cove Human Services, and I've been there for about 4 years. As previously mentioned, I'm an assistant team leader at a community-based flexible support team, which means we specialize in psychiatric rehabilitation to support the goals of 122 adults, all DMH clients who are diagnosed with some form of major mental illness. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, but in order to be afforded more opportunities in this competitive field, I knew it would be necessary for me to obtain a master's degree. I'm pursuing my degree in social work at Bridgewater State University, and I'm enrolled in my second year of a 3-year part-time program. As many of you can imagine or know from personal experience, working full-time while going to school is not an easy task. I work full-time at Bay Cove. I'm taking 3 classes every semester. I currently have an internship at Boston Emergency Services for 16 hours a week, so this accumulates to about 60 hours a week, not to mention studying for exams and tests. So in my 2 years at Bridgewater, I've accumulated $28,427 in student loans, and I have another year to go. So when doing the math, I'll owe roughly $40,000 just for graduate school, which is almost more than I make in a year. I'll need to pay at least $450 each month in student loans when I graduate, meaning it'll take me over 10 years to pay off when factoring in interest rates. So this adds a tremendous burden and stress when I'm considering buying a house, having children, starting a family with my husband, especially considering the starting salaries for social workers. Unfortunately, student loans are not the only expense that I have to worry about when planning for the future. I estimate that when accounting solely for student loans and health insurance, just for myself, I'll be paying just less than $700 a month for those 2 bills alone. And recently, I got married, and I considered adding my husband to my health insurance. However, for those 2 people, it would be $660 just for the 2 of us, not to mention if I had a family. So, I didn't do that. Let's see. So with $450 and the $660, I'd be paying $1,110 a month for those 2 things. So with numbers like these, it's no wonder that more than 1/4 of the country's 40 million student loan debtors have defaulted on their loans. And by 2022, college loan debt is expected to equal mortgage debt. I'm fortunate enough to have found a career in social work that I'm passionate about and that brings me satisfaction and joy. In my capacity at Bay Cove, part of my job is to act as a rep payee. We try to teach our clients the skills to spend money responsibly and manage their finances to the best of their ability. I fear the very thing we try to help our clients avoid, living paycheck to paycheck, is what I'm going to end up doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee, Sarah, Megan, and Nathan. Your voice for what you talked about was not only important for you, but it was important for many, many others in this room and outside of this room as well. Isn't that true? The voice, the message, your message resonates with many people in the caring force, which is now over 20,000, and even furthermore. If we want to continue to have the best and the brightest, then we really got to take care of our best and our brightest. And that's dealing with loan repayment, tuition remission, and also health insurance. 3 things that are sort of eating away at those paychecks, which, as we all know, aren't very large. So I thank you for your personal testimonies for this. Because not only are you saying it to the people that know it, you're also talking to people that know it who work in this building, right? And I wanted to introduce, just to ask them to wave their hand is here. I understand that Representative Gonzalez is here from Springfield. Representative Gonzalez from Springfield. I see you brought your fans with you. That's very good. That tweeter must be really working. Earlier, I think Representative Parente was here. I don't know if here, and if there's anyone else, just please let me know. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Representative Linsky's right here, folks. Right, how are you? Sure, great. Good to see you there. But you know, Rep. Linsky is one of our champions as well. And right now, we wanted to acknowledge 3 other champions that you might not know of. And if you do know them, great. They are part of the body of people here who work on behalf of all of us. Now, they come from a different region, but the work that they do not only helps the people in their constituency area, but also for all of us in the state. So I wanted to introduce you to them as we give them an award, which is the Caring Bear Award. You guys are familiar with the Caring Bear Award? Anybody? Well, the Caring Bear Award is the highest award that you can get from the caring force, human services sector, and acknowledges work that's done on behalf of all of you in order to support and strengthen the human services community. And our first presentation is to a person that some of you may know, Senator Jennifer Flanagan. Let me briefly introduce to you Senator Flanagan from Leominster for her long-term support. She was elected to the Massachusetts State Senate in 2008 and proudly represents several towns like Ashby, Bolton, Clinton, Fitchburg, Gardner, Lancaster, Leominster, Lunenburg, Sterling, Townsend, and Westminster. And I hope I didn't miss any of them when I was doing that, but if I did, I'm sure she'll correct me. She is the current chair of the Joint Committee on Mental Health, as well as chair of the Joint Committee for Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities, and chair of the Special Senate Committee on Opioid Addiction. Additionally, Senator Flanagan serves as the vice chair of the Public Health Committee. Now, I should let you know that Senator Flanagan started out as a direct care worker, but she uses those skills and that understanding in working with young girls in mental health counseling to help guide the work that she does here today. So it's a pleasure that we introduced you our first awardee. And Michael, would you help me as we present this to our first champion, Senator Jennifer Flanagan.
Thank you and good morning and welcome to the State House. Thank you so much for this award today. I can't tell you how much it means to me, not only to receive the Caring Bear Award, but to have all of you here today. As someone who used to work in direct care for You Inc., I can tell you how difficult it is, how rewarding it is, how tough it can be, but how absolutely outstanding it can be to think that you're going to change the lives of others here throughout Massachusetts. So I want to thank you all for the work that you do and for the work that you want to do each and every day on behalf of the people. That's the most important part today. Some people know that I've been in this building just a couple of years, and this past December I've spent 20 years working in actually being elected and also being an aide in this building. So I can tell you that I've seen issues come and go. But the one thing that has remained relevant, and the one thing that I think we need to push today, and I really want you to tell your stories to the staff and legislators you meet, is the work that you do saves us dollars later, because the care that you provide for the population of people you're working with keeps them out of hospitals and keeps them out of our judicial system and keeps them out of the homeless population, and really tries to target some of the preventative services that we have. So as you walk through the halls today, and as a former staffer, I'm going to tell you to talk to a lot of the staff, because we run this building. I'll tell you that right now. I know I'm a legislator, but as a staff person, I had that ear of my boss each and every time. Tell the stories that you heard today. Tell how much you owe in student loans. I'll tell you, when I got my master's degree, it wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't working in this building, and I got tuition remission. There was no way that I was going to be able to pay off my undergrad and then go to graduate school. And I went to the University of Massachusetts and to Fitchburg State University. So I stayed in the public school system throughout my educational career. It's important for us to keep your issues on the front line. You have many legislators who are here today, and some that are interspersed in the population that we have, but you have friends on Beacon Hill. You have people that are willing to fight for you, that are willing to work for you, and that are willing to stand by your side each and every day that you go to work to take care of your people. So as we're going into the budget debate, numbers are a big deal to us right now. You can ask the representative on Wednesday when the budget's released. It's going to be a big deal to the House. Make sure you get your numbers in front of the legislators. Make sure they know what you need, and we can fight to work for the representative's legislation. So thank you so much for being here today. I got bears and blocks all over the place. Thank you guys so much. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was the Senate side of things. Our next awardee is a guy I've gotten to know pretty well. So let me tell you some personal stuff first. I missed your show on Saturday night. Jeff's in a band, and he's trying to help revitalize downtown Franklin with a little bit of music. And besides that, he rides in the Pan Mass Challenge. That raises $38 million for cancer. Pretty amazing. And could I have a shout out from people at HMEA? Jessica, can you give a little whoop over there? Okay. Because probably most importantly, on May 22nd, Jeff is going to run in our 5K. But wait a minute. Jeff is going to be pushing Kayla, who's the daughter of one of our board members, who has mitochondrial disease, and he's challenged me to do the same. So May 22nd, it's on. What, Lenny? Lenny's birthday's coming up. So Jeff was elected to the House in 2012 and proudly represents the 10th Norfolk District, which includes Franklin, where our agency is, in Medway. He serves for the vice chair for the House Committee on Ethics and is a member of multiple joint committees, including Ways and Means, Judiciary, and Labor and Workforce Development. Jeff also is very involved in the opioid addiction issue, working on a program called SAFE. He has invited me to some events as a leader in that area as well. But what we know Jeff for today, and what we're so appreciative, he sponsored the loan repayment bill. He's our guy in this bill. He's our leader.
Please, yeah, get prepared. Is he going to see? I'm not so good off the cuff, but I did prepare something. And one thing that I'm a little upset about, I thought by wearing what I thought was a gold shirt, it would match perfectly with the Caring Force gold, but my son, who's studying fashion design, would be horrified if he ever saw what I have on today, so please don't share these photos with him. I just want to say it's really a privilege to be with you today, and thank you for this honor. It's a blessing to be able to work with you and everyone on the Caring Force on some of the most important matters we face as a Commonwealth. And we are working on that loan repayment assistance bill, and I appreciate the help and the guidance of Speaker DeLeo, Chairman Dempsey, Speaker Pro Tem Haddad on that, and I'm most appreciative of Chairman Khan and Chairwoman Flanagan for reporting that bill favorably out of their committee. It's people like you with passion who can change the world for better. And as I stand here today, I'm reminded of Margaret Mead's very famous words, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And this is not a very small group, but I think you get the idea. As we've learned from the history of this great nation, a unified force of people made whole by a belief in a single mission has the ability to improve the human condition. And when I look out into the sea of gold here today, I think of you as a great orchestra making beautiful music. Now, Michael shared with you that I am a musician. I enjoy music, and in fact, as this rally was getting started, there was some absolutely beautiful music out in the hallway. And as a musician, I tend to see the world through the prism of sound. And I'm going to ask you to think of yourself as you're sitting in your car, you're driving, and you're flipping through the radio dial, or you're flipping through your iTunes on your iPad looking for that perfect song. And when you eventually find it, you play it, and you put at ease, and you close your eyes, you breathe freer, and your mind is at peace. Well, music has that ability to do that to you. It adds color to otherwise dull moments. It's the combination of the notes, the tones of the instruments, and occasionally the poetic lyrics that seem to pull it all together. And when you go to a concert or a show and you see a performer take the stage, look at how each of the musicians complement one another, and together how they create sounds that resonate, harmonize, and glorify the art of working together. If everyone went about their business the way musicians do, where your actions complement others, just think about how different the world would be. In your work, you are great musicians, and your actions complement others. And every day, you create a soundtrack that sets the scenes for your clients. So I'm going to ask you to please keep making some beautiful music here. In listening to your stories, I'm continuously inspired. When I look into the crowd, I see people anxious to help one another. I see hope, I see dreams, I see a better world. So again, I thank you. Thank you for the care you have provided for my Uncle Donald. Thank you for the care you have provided for my cousin Lucy. Thank you for the care you have provided for all of our brothers and sisters who depend upon you. And thank you for the care you have provided for all of our uncles and aunts, fathers and mothers, grandparents, and the many others who have been recipients of your support, compassion, and companionship. Thank you for being that great orchestra clothed in gold. Thank you for letting me be a part of your team. And thank you for this precious caring bear. This bear is something that I will treasure forever. And I was looking in the eyes, because with those eyes, I know that he will watch over me and guide me, and to the extent that he doesn't, Mike and Mike will be there as well. So thank you very much, and please enjoy your time here in the People's House. Thank you.
Now we have another special guest that's joined us, and I wanted to have you acknowledge the presence of our Speaker Pro Tem, Representative Patricia Haddad, please. Thank you. Thank you. Now our third and final awardee, got one last guy to go here, is to someone I've known for quite a while. And someone this building has known for quite a while, because she has been a voice for fairness and social justice in this institution for many, many years. She joined the House in 1986 and served the 7th Suffolk District, but as I said before, she's actually served beyond that. While they're the ones that elected her, what she's provided for us in terms of the human services community has been throughout the state of Massachusetts. And she will tell you clearly that she has been an advocate and a true advocate for human services in Massachusetts. She's an active member of the Massachusetts Legislative Foster Care Kid Coalition, a former member of the Governor's Blue Ribbon Commission on Foster Care, where we both served, and where her voice and articulation of the issues was riveting for many of the folks there and helped us move along. She is responsible for significant reforms in the Department of Children and Family Foster Care Program, and will be forever known for her advocacy for families and children across the Commonwealth. So this past legislative year, the representative says she wants to step down. It is a bittersweet moment for many of us that she's going to be leaving and going on, but we understand that there's much more that she's going to be involved in, and we hope that we can still be a part of her. So we understand from her, one time she came here and she says, well, you know why the gold shirts are here and why you're here? It's because you're under the gold dome, and that's where the money is. Well, without further ado, let me introduce to you our awardee, Representative Gloria Fox.
God is good. There you go. All the time. I have to say that, especially before I speak. It does give me the energy and the spiritual kind of support that I need before I speak to a group this large and this impressive. I love it when you come down to the People's House. So welcome to the People's House. All of you. All of you. Yes, I say it every year. You know why you're here. This is where the money's at, and this is where you're going to get 124 passed. And you want to do that this year. You know that piece of legislation is important to you, but it's important to all of us in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So I'm happy to say that I'm a supporter of it, and I'll encourage my colleagues to be a supporter of it as well. So you're here for a couple of reasons. So when you go around and you speak to the legislators, you're going to let them know to support 124 and to raise any monies that you can raise in the budget. You're going to ask them to do that for social work and social services and social programs. That's your mission today to all 160 of us. You're in the People's House for a reason. Don't waste any time talking just amongst yourselves, but talk to each and every one of the legislators that you visit today and tell them what it is that you need. Let me just say this, that I have decided that I am going to retire from the House of Representatives this year. After 20 years or more, no, it's been longer than that, 30 years in public life and 30 years in the great and general court, I've decided that I need to do some national work on the national level in human services and in politics, and I want to be able to travel, write a book, maybe a film about my life and my history, my life as a foster child, and what it took to be where I'm at right now. So there's a story in me that's got to be told, and so I need some time to do that. I can probably do it on film as well, so we're probably going to do two things, but we've got to tell a story, and it'll be a good legacy for other folks that are going to be coming up behind me. I want to just introduce my Chief of Staff, who's also going to be running for the 7th Suffolk seat that I'm vacating. Anyone here from Roxbury? There's a couple of you here from Roxbury. Mary Tuitt will be on the ballot. I won't be this year for the first time in 100 years, but Mary's name will be on it. This has been a joy and a blessing to be here all of these 32 years, I think it's been, in the House of Representatives. I came in a special election, so it's probably 31, an odd year. But it's been a joy and a pleasure to represent the 7th Suffolk District, which is basically Roxbury, the Fenway, and the Audubon Circle area in the city of Boston. It's been a joy and a blessing to represent all of the men, women, and children in that area. I've made some changes for the better in my community, I'm happy to say, and I'll continue to do my part, even as a regular citizen and member of the community. So I look forward to that. I look forward to traveling. I look forward to interacting with my sisters and brothers in the People's House. Thank you. And thank you for this. Thank you for this.
Let's give a round of applause to all of our awardees. Senator Flanagan, Representative Lloyd, Representative Fox. We're so appreciative of what they've done for this. Right now, it's time for you to share your story, but not here, in this room, but with legislators. By now, hopefully that you've made appointments, but if you haven't made appointments, if you would go visit your legislators, that's your representative and your senator, and share the story about why what we're talking about here, about loan repayment, about health insurance, about tuition remission is important. Important to you, important to your colleagues, and important to the work that you have to do. So we ask you to, when you do talk to them, ask them to pledge their support. That you're not just here for a social visit, as Representative Fox pointed out, just to chat. You're here for a real reason, because you know how important this is. That with crushing debt of $58,000, $60,000, and some of folks I've heard have over $100,000 worth of debt, we've got to make a difference, and we can make a difference, but it begins here. We've had successes with salary reserve. We've had successes with Chapter 257, which has brought money and bonuses and checks to folks and helped us do what we needed to do to help and serve the people in the Commonwealth. But right now, those who are giving the care need some help, and they need some help that we can provide here in the Commonwealth. So I ask you to do that. Connect with your team captain, who's a person that has a shirt and a tag that says team captain with them, and go and talk to your legislators. Are you ready to really do that here? Yeah? Well, if you need any of the forms to go and put your name on them and leave them with your legislator, please go to the front desk and someone will help you get that. And we want to make a difference this year. And we want to make a difference by going for our Drive for 5. Oh, I see Central Masses over there. All right. So we're going for our Drive for 5. We want a 5% increase this year. We can do it. You can do it. Let's make it happen. Thank you. God bless. Have a great day. Take care.